Bear Crawling Nation on the No Agenda Stream.
This is R. Mordant McFall, and welcome to the other side of live. Welcome everybody to the #1 late night motivational quote-unquote morning show, otherwise known as the other side of live. Tonight we are once again back in the Bears Den in Monticello, Georgia, which means I am here with my co-host, my partner, my friend, and other accolades I can throw his way, but also known as the dark side of positive, Charles McFall.
I don't feel so well. Wait, no, that's you. I feel just fine.
I blame you and your family anyways. I think I got this. Your wife said I got this from your kids.
My kids never got sick.
No. She said somebody had a cough and you had a cold.
No. My baby had bronchiolitis. He had something where I had to give him breathing treatments. And then I got sinuses, which you know about, but you didn't even come for that. And then she got sinuses. It's all those Glee sessions.
It is. I got a little bit of glitter in my throat.
Actually, I think you haven't watched it in a while. And you're withdrawing.
It is. It's my withdrawal. That's right.
You said glitter in your throat?
As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Oh,
although
yes,
it's probably not healthy.
All right.
So,
our timer's going to be a minute off.
That's fine. It's better that, well, the last few times it hasn't been.
I don't hear it. Negative, Nancy.
In the morning, No Agenda Stream. Everybody who is listening live to us, I want to say in the morning to you, as I'm figuring out what the heck we're doing tonight. It has been an interesting week for both Charles and I, and interesting setup for the show as well. Tonight's working title is Life Goes On. I think it's very aproposly named. Really? You're getting a phone call?
No, it's probably Gitmo telling me something's going on.
All right. Anyways, so a lot of things have been happening for us, and we're going to get into that a little while later. Before we do that, we want to talk about what's happening this weekend. On, first of all, Saturday, May 26th, which is this Saturday, we are having the second annual bear crawling No Agenda meetup.
Slash won't be here, but that'd be cool.
That will be at the Georgia Renaissance Festival. So if any of you are out and about in the Atlanta area, come on down. You can meet the McFall.
The McFall.
The voice behind the podcasting group and all. You know, what is it? Bear Crawling Live and Chaos in the Morning and this
Chaos and Coffee.
This little thing called The Other Side of Live, as well as other podcasters that are in the Bear Crawling Nation. And some other fans are going to be showing up. It's going to be a good time. I'll be there because of contractual obligation, wearing my tights, performing on stage, getting glitter caught in my throat. So that is this Saturday at the Georgia Renaissance Festival. If you want to know more about it, you can always just Google Georgia Renaissance Festival.
I believe the gates open at 10 or 10:30.
10:30.
10:30. So we're going to be there. We're going to try to shoot to be there about 10 a.m. just to make sure everybody gets their tickets that they need. And you'll know me. You'll know me. I'll be obvious to the crowd. So it'll be fun.
He's a big man with a stogie and a smile on his face.
I should bring a cigar, shouldn't I?
I'm surprised if you don't.
Because I've done my family time. I'm basically there to make sure everybody else has a good time. I'll be at the center table smoking my cigar most of the day.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. What did we talk about last week? Are you ready to go to that?
Last week, we still got one more thing coming up. This Tuesday coming up. Well, actually, no, even before that. Thursday, although I've not heard back from them yet, Thursday, we are going to be on Georgia Tech's own 91.9 WREK's show, Tech Talk. Both Charles and I are going to be making an appearance on Tech Talk. That is WREK 91.9 for you, those of you in the Atlanta area or who go to Georgia Tech. You can listen to us. Of course, we'll get a copy of the show anyways.
I bet, you know what, while we're talking, I'll look it up on TuneIn. I bet you we can get that on TuneIn. They can listen to us worldwide.
They can do that. Oh, awesome. Do that.
Yeah.
But also, they record all their shows so that you can download them. So that's what's cool about them. And we'll be advertising our meetup, the Tosol meetup, happening in Marietta, Georgia, this Tuesday coming up, May 29th, the day after Memorial Day, at Tabula Rasa Health and Fitness Center. that we will be hanging out with our good friend Hope Hughes, and she'll actually be guesting on our show. We'll be talking about fitnessy stuff and Tosol stuff and all that. You can come out and meet us again and actually experience the other side of live alive.
Right. The bear crawling meetup is the bear crawling experience. It's all about life, getting out there, living it to the fullest. We're going to see you in your comedy element. We're going to get out there and everybody's going to have a good time, and we're hobnobbing and just roughhouse. And what we do, we're going to eat good food. And it's all about the bear crawling experience. And that's totally different than what you're going to get Tuesday night, which is going to be the other side of live, which now you're in our Mordant McFall outfit. And
that's right.
We're going to shake hands, meet and greet, quietly sign some autographs.
We'll call it Tosol Alive. So the other side of live alive. Unless you help us think of a better name.
And, you know, I'm really going to be pushing for audience participation during that show.
That's really. I'm looking to see if I've got anything else wide open. I don't.
Yeah.
Because I shut down everything. I hear what's going on in the chat room. For those of you who are listening to the podcast and are having no sound problems whatsoever, people who are listening to us live for some reason are having some kind of audio skippy thing. But I don't think it's me this time. We're going to go with that. It's not me.
I've had internet issues all day. I mean, last night the modem died. I had to spend the day trekking out to the north side of Atlanta to get a new one, and then we got in and we set it up, and honestly I can't do anything about it anymore. It died 30 minutes before we were supposed to go live. Yeah. AT&T decided to drop service to my house.
20 minutes ago you told me this is going to be a podcast only show.
Right.
20 minutes ago we were going to be, it's just the other side of the other side of podcast. So last week we had on our show, it was a Tosol number 44 entitled Fair Weather, Foul Weather. We had the Weather Channel's own Danielle Banks on.
Yes.
And she gave a fantastic interview. I think I have to say one of the best that we've had. I mean, she opened up on a deep level.
A whole can of whoop. Wait, that's a different show. Sorry,
that's your morning show.
That's my morning show. Chaos Coffee. Tomorrow morning, you'll be on. You might not be very happy, but you'll be here.
It might be podcast.
But no, yeah, the greatest line in that whole show was at the end when she's like, "I never do this. I never have the opportunity to open up and just share and touch lives and really be a person." She's always the weather girl, or she's not the weather girl. It's like somebody tells weather, but she does the TV reporting. She's always that TV professional, and this is the story, and this is what we have to do. She even told a story about one of her producers, I think, told her not to give the person the hug, and she said, well, if I feel like it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. But that's her world, and our world was like, no, hug away. Tell us your story, get emotional, and it really sat heavy here.
Yeah. Well, the fact that she got to such a deep level, and she'll be out on Saturday. She said she's going to come out early. She has to leave by 1 o'clock. She's got a wedding thing to go to.
Wedding thing.
So yeah, it was really, really hitting home with some of that stuff. Is there anything else that might pop up?
Yeah, I do have the speak pipe.
All right, so we did have a couple of callers on speak pipe that we are going to flash you with.
So this is about last week's show, and hopefully it plays and doesn't kill everything.
This was sent to us this time. You're going to lead into it?
No, I'm just trying to hit play. That's what I want to do.
Well, anyways, I'll tell you that this is from our good friend Lala Siegfried, and she had some very nice things to say, and you might be able to hear them, but then again, you might not. So there.
It's not doing anything.
Just as you. So the theme for tonight's show, Life Goes On, should also be called The Show Must Go On.
Yeah.
Through hell or high water, sickness and in health, bad AT&T, which we're not big fans of theirs right now, or not. You got to keep plugging away no matter what happens.
Yeah. So I don't know. It says click this link to download, and it's not letting me download. And I hit the link to play, and it's not playing. And we normally would have this prepared, but I was scrambling just to get internet running. And if we cut out, we're probably not going to be back up tonight. If the internet crashes while we're on it again, we're just going to continue on with the podcast. And I mean, we're getting tons of complaints about the sound is horrible anyway.
Reminds me of our old days with I was going to say, was it
Stickam?
Stickam, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. One of the things about Danielle's interview, I mean, she even talked about, a lot of things. She talked about, it's hard to just get back into it, but how she was affected by some of the good things and the bad things, and how I asked her what was her most a moment that changed her, defining moment, and she talked about a time when she was carjacked at gunpoint. And just going through the experience and talking about how chilling it was and how she wasn't sure if she was going to be alive or dead the next minute or so or whatever. And she got through it, obviously. But that was very chilling for us.
It was. Let me see if we can play this here.
All right. I apologize for my coughing, but it's going to continue throughout the show.
Hey guys, it's Lala Siegfried calling. I just thought I would send you a quick little SpeakPipe message. Actually, knowing me, it probably won't be that quick. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for everything that you do and for your shows, especially last Tuesday when you had Danielle on. It was awesome. She's really amazing and inspirational, and what a tough, awesome chick, man. That was a really, really great show, and I very much enjoyed it. Also, every day when, first thing I do when I get up is usually check my emails, check Facebook, and, all that stuff. And whether it's some creepy Facebook robot or just, right place, right time. But the other side of live is always the top thing on my news feed.
Creepy Facebook
and
robot.
It's always it's usually Mordant putting out some kind of affirmation or like really cool quote, and it's just like the best way for me to start my day, because it really puts me into the mindset that I need to be positive and to be doing what I need to do to get what I want, basically, like from life. And so I just really appreciate that, and I really think that's awesome. And I just thank you guys. And I think I need to get myself a bracelet, one of those WWMD bracelets. What would Mordant do? And anytime I'm kind of in a state of mind where I'm getting a little bit cynical or negative, I just kind of think about Mordant, and I'm like, man, that dude just knows what's up. And it just always kind of puts me right back into the right mindset. And of course, Charles, I love you.
No,
big
too late.
Sexy bear you.
Too late.
So I just wanted to say thanks for everything you guys do. And I'm sad I'm not going to make it to the meetup this weekend, but I hope you guys have a blast and keep doing what you're doing. And thank you and all that. So there you go. SpeakPipe. All right, bye guys.
That's fine. I don't need to be loved. It's what would Mordant do? I'm okay. I'm okay. It's good. That's 2 or 3 this week that we've just gotten, I don't know, affirmations, if you will, that spontaneously people have called up to say, hey, you're always talking about something that's in my life. We just wanted you to know, thank you. And I honestly needed that. And maybe not based off of that show, but I've needed that some lately of, it helps to know you're on the right path, and we're going to talk about paths here in a second.
And letting you know that what you're doing makes a difference.
Yeah.
You may know it in the back of your mind, like, oh yeah, this is cool. But when somebody actually comes up to you and says, hey, no, I want to tell you, I need to tell you, you're affecting me, and it's like, wow, all right, thank you.
We need that, honestly, not just to stroke our egos, because there are times, and we're about to hear a SpeakPipe based on this. There are times when you hit that wall. I mean, it's been. I went to you today. I went to you because behind the scenes there was stuff going on with the company that runs No Agenda, and there were some potentially major issues. And I went, "How bad do you want it?" I didn't say that to them because I was for all of us. I was just saying it to myself. It was for all of us. Like, my modem's died. I mean, I couldn't work today. Today I didn't work at all, which was weird. And I don't get paid. Well, I do get paid. I get vacation, but I don't get paid good for that. I have other things that aren't working. we're having potential issues with the stream. We're having issues with the internet. How bad do you want it? Well, sometimes you got to go, how bad do I want it? And if you're looking around going, it doesn't matter to anybody but me, I don't want it that bad. Everybody needs that. If they affect you, to me, that's value for value. It's not just about your money. It's definitely not just about your time, but it's about your input. Go to the Facebook pages for the shows that you love. Find the people you like who you appreciate what they do and post on it. I follow Kevin Smith. I Twitter him. I don't know if he reads it or not. He probably doesn't read it. He probably has somebody doing his Twitter. I don't know. But I'll say, at Kevin Smith, or that Kevin Smith, I think is what it is, the real one. And it's like, dude, I just watched your latest Q&A. You move me. I appreciate what you do. And maybe he needed to hear that. Maybe he didn't even read it. I don't know. But he puts it back out there. And we need it. And Lala called in, which you should, Speak Pipes on the Facebook page and on MordantWorld.com and everywhere else. And I got a message on Facebook this week about the same thing. You guys are always talking about what's going on in my life. Every time I flip on the podcast, flip it on. And it's important. And I'm going to try to pull up this one. And if people start going, oh, well, the audio is bad on our show, it might be because the only thing I can do is stream these phone calls right now. So that might be taking down the show broadcast. But I have no other choice. I think it's important. Go back and listen to the podcast as you can't hear this clearly. This was when we got last week, a voicemail we got that we wanted to deal with, and obviously it wasn't quite right for the show. We didn't get to it. You ready? Like to hear it? There
yes, I think that would be good now.
I'm just trying to let you rest.
Thank you.
Hey, gents. It's Lee here from the Dirty Boxers show. And I just wanted to ask a question. Currently, I'm going through some issues at the moment where I feel very much overwhelmed with all the different projects that I've got going on and stuff like that. And because of that, obviously, some people may have noticed that I've had a few weeks off here and there over the last month or so, just to try to reassess and deal with all the different curveballs that I've been sent. Now, the question that I've got is primarily to try and get over that overwhelmment, I think, is a good word for this. Because at the moment I don't feel like I'm drowning, but it's almost a sense that I've stopped swimming. And I'm kind of treading water, but I'm kind of like going, well, I don't know which direction to swim in, so I just don't know what to do now. And there's so much crap that has happened. For example, a good example is the fact that the podcast for my show hasn't been updated for a while. And originally that was going to be because I stopped updating that it was going to be about a week, so that I had the time to then get on with the other supporting pieces. And because I'm a one-man band, it was kind of like, okay, I'm going to spin off, do a new thing, but I'll be able to catch up with what I was supposed to be doing for Dirty Boxers. And that's not happened. And that's another thing that I've got to deal with. And it's not really anybody's fault that any of this has happened. People said they could do stuff, and then it's turned out that they can't, and so it's now left me by myself with a hell of a lot of stuff to try and catch up on, and I just don't know where to turn. I just don't know what to do, and it's kind of a scenario where, yeah. So I just wondered if you could try and give us a few tips, a few ideas of how to try and get over all this malarkey and try and get over all this tosh that I've got to deal with right now, to then move forward, to actually go, right, that was a bad example. There was things there that I'm embarrassed about, and I've been open and honest about them all, but I'm embarrassed about all that rubbish, and I just want to move on and do the things that I want to do. Because at the moment I'm even questioning the fact that if I want to do this anymore now. I'm very passionate about what I do and doing the show and stuff like that, but now I'm like, oh, there's so much weight that I'm kind of like, what to do now? So that's a long-winded question. If you could give us a few tips. I've tried the to-do list to tick off stuff, but it turned out that I was just putting on additional things, the easy stuff like breathe.
And it cut off for some reason due to technical issues, I guess. on Speak Pipe's end. It didn't finish. That, man, honestly, that breaks my heart when somebody talking about being passionate about something and going, I'm passionate, but I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. What how's that strike you?
Well, for me, listening to the whole thing, it sounds like he's really just being overwhelmed with everything, or he was running along and being what he thought was fine, he got tripped up, and then he saw this mountain of stuff that he had to deal with. A lot of times it's good for you to look at the big picture of what you're doing. A lot of times you need to be able to see everything that's going on so you can go, oh, this is why I'm doing this and this is what I'm all about, so I'm not get stuck in the details. But sometimes I think that works to your disadvantage because it's almost like you're really, really hungry sitting at a table and you've ordered your food and here comes this huge plate of spaghetti and meatballs or whatever, no matter whatever you love.
Sure.
And it's so much food you're like all of a sudden like, oh, I can't eat all that. It's too much. I think one of the difficulties that he's having is that he is looking at everything and that he just doesn't know what to turn to. And he talked about how he started getting into how he's tried the list thing and it didn't work for him. Unfortunately, I think that's where I'm going to direct him back to. Now, I think he said something about, he was saying something about putting down the easy stuff and just working on that and just avoiding the other stuff. I think instead, if you really want to be moving forward with everything, you're going to want to look at those things that you're avoiding. Because the things that you're avoiding are probably the things that you need to do the most. Whenever I make up a list for myself, I'll write everything down that I need to do or that I kind of think that I'm going to work on that day. Then I'll look at the list and go, what do I not want to do the most? That's the thing I should put first. Now, if there are other things I can knock out real quick, that's great. But whatever, whether he uses the list or not, I think his problem is that he's looking at the huge mountain of stuff that he needs to deal with. Instead, you're going to have to take one step at a time. You're going to have to pick a thing, and maybe you won't pick the hardest thing. Maybe you will pick something that's relatively easy to move forward with. And then you're going to take that step and take care of that so you can feel a sense of accomplishment. And it's so something gets off your plate. You know? But eventually, you're going to have to tackle one of those things that you're avoiding. And I think that those are going to be the things that are going to help move you forward with your life and get you back on track again.
I kind of have to go to the positive side of dark. The dark side of, I don't know. I see it in a totally different way because I've been where he's talking about being, and what I've always had to do is not look at the big picture, not look at the list. I have to look around and go, what is working for me, or what attracts me? You know, when I ended up on the side of the road with a screaming baby and my wife is hurting and there's no gas in the car, and I'm sitting there going, how did I get here again? You had to figure that out. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But the other thing I always did that I don't focus on as much is I sat there and made a priority list. I said, I don't know right this second how I got here again, other than making the same stupid decisions over and over again, but I know how I can change my path. Now I made my 1, 2, 3. That was it. 1, 2, 3. This is my priority, period. If it doesn't fit these three, it's out. Or at least it doesn't make my list. And I know Lee has been working on a lot of things bigger than himself. He's working on a bigger vision. But you're talking about looking at the big picture. Sometimes I just had the image when you're talking about it, the Berlin Wall. You look at the wall, we can't take this down. It's not just a wall. It's a political empire. It's a 100-year-old war. Or I don't know how long the Berlin Wall was up when it came down. It wasn't 100 years, I know that. But I'm not that dumb. Don't smile at me like I'm just ignorant. My point is...
You so pretty.
My point is, you had that wall there, and on one side they'd shoot you, on the other side they're saying, bring it down. And not only was it a mass of people pushing for it, and a world getting behind them pushing for it, which is where you get help in your podcasting world, Lee. I got to the point not 6 months, 8 months ago, when my website got hacked again, and it took everything down again, and I was tired of it, and I knew it was my servers, and there was nothing I could do about it, and I just put out on Facebook, I was done. I was at that wall, going, this is a pivotal moment in bear crawling, because if I had to start over from scratch, I can't do it. I can't. I might do a podcast that's kind of half-hearted, but I can't start over. And because I put that out, help stepped up and got, here, let us help you fix this problem. Here, let's help you pull away. And it took that burden off. And that's how they took down the Berlin Wall, was one chip at a time. When it first cracked, it's because people were hammering in one spot. And that's that priority list to me, is every time I've hit that dark space going, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And it's not just about validation. It's not just about the fans. It's not about the help. It's, I have a bigger picture. Bigger, better, better, more is the terms that you taught me. That's always been my big picture. And I sat up here in this office, had this huge fight with my wife, going, I've obviously messed up, but do I need to reset everything? I mean, is it going further, deeper than I ever knew? And I was willing to scrap it all because priority, family. My wife, this family in this house, priority number one. Number two is job, because it supported that. And then number three originally was the band, which changed into bear crawling because it's my passion. But number three is passion. Outside of that, it doesn't matter. And so I had to go, okay, what's outside of that? That's when I dropped trying to be a professional social media guy, trying to be a social media coach. I dropped that because it wasn't my passion. It didn't fit the show. I realized I've been letting my show down. I've been letting my family down. And pretty soon work was going to be let down if I kept up. If you cut the list out, if you don't try to build your empire overnight, if you go, where's my heart? What can I do right now? I mean, we've got our list, and you and I operate differently. Sometimes you go, well, what are we trying to avoid? That's the most important thing. And sometimes we do that, and it was right. It's the most important thing. Sometimes I go, I really want to do this one because I'm really fired up about this one. Let's do this one right here. And we do that because that's where my heart is. You got to do it all. I mean, adjust the physical. It's like my losing weight. I did the Weight Watchers, and I was fine with it. It just is expensive. I did treadmill for a while and found excuses to not do that. I've done a lot of things, but it wasn't until I started putting down on paper that big damn plate of spaghetti that came to the table.
One meatball at a time, one noodle at a time.
Exactly. Well, I started putting it down, just tracking it. So I know this is what I'm doing. and I mean, I honestly don't know what your passion is, Lee. Like your ultimate passion. I know you're really good at entertaining.
And speaking about the passion, I think that when your work is your passion and your passion is your work and you're having a really, really hard time, it's usually not your work. If your work is your passion and there's something that's, really affecting you to the point where like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, it's probably not the guy's work. I wish he was here and I wish that we could speak to him, but he's not here right now. So we have to kind of do a little bit of guesswork here. But I don't think it's the business that he's having a hard time with. I think that personal stuff is creeping in the way of the business, and that's what he has to work on. So the same thing can be said, that the same thing that you said, the same thing that I said, is that you're going to have to, unfortunately, you are going to have to take this one piece at a time. You are going to have to make, it is advisable that you make some kind of list for it, and that way you can pick and choose.
But the path you're on might not always be the correct one. Or the path that you're on that is correct now will change. I mean, I went from being in a band to being in this, doing a podcast. I grew the podcast in somewhat of a group, a business, if you will. We try to make a business. I mean, there's another change coming. I mean, things are growing. I started doing Chaos and Coffee in the morning because it's part of my bigger picture. I didn't have a passion for mornings. I hate mornings. I didn't want to do a daily show in that format. But so it was outside of my passion. It was outside of my three priorities. But my ultimate passion is bigger, better, better, more. I knew it was helping out the stream, which is going to help out me in the long run, building the future. So it's a task. And through different sets of circumstances, this show changed to now it is my passion. It changed. It's later. I dove into it. It moved into my wheelhouse, into my passion, and fired me up. You got to figure out what your real passions are.
Well, do you think his show is his passion still?
I don't know. He's good at it. He's really good at it.
That's not what I'm asking.
I know
the only reason I'm saying this is because you know him better than I do. Because right now we're talking to a recording. Because he's not here, he's not able to answer for this at all. So it's like if doing his show is still his passion, and he's put a lot of work into it, and it's a great show. Yeah. If doing his show is still his passion, he's going to be able to suss that out.
And he's got to cut out other things.
He's going to have to away from it. He's going to have to deal with the personal stuff.
Right.
Either way, he's going to have to take all this stuff one step, because it sounds like he's being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He's going to have to take this one step at a time. He's going to have to pick and choose. Sure, in the beginning you can pick a couple of easy things so that you get them off your plate, but eventually you're going to have to look like, almost like Spidey sense, almost like radar. What's the thing that I'm most scared of? What's the thing that I'm trying to avoid? Oh, that thing. That's the thing. And there's a book out by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog. And it talks about if you ate a frog in the beginning of the day, everything else would be easy.
That's so gross.
So you try to figure out what's the thing that you're avoiding the most. What's the thing that you least want to do? And chances are it's the thing you really need to do first.
You're probably right. And I'm not trying to argue with you. I just feel it differently.
You are arguing with me.
I'm not trying not to argue with you. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just feel it differently. We took different paths.
I think we're saying the same thing, dude.
We probably are, with two different voices.
Yeah, because you talk about doing a list and doing things one at a time. I'm talking about doing a list.
And Ivory. Anyway, sorry. I'm Ebony, by the way.
I'm Ivory.
Yeah. Have you seen the shirt you're wearing?
Yeah, I know.
I love that shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to get a tan.
But, if I found my passion was my show and taking my show forward and doing that and helping other people in the process. And I found there were times where I focused on other people too much. I couldn't focus on my show. And that took away from my passion. You've got to figure out, you've got to reassess. I want to pimp out next month a little bit. Next month in the
That's why you were reading.
Actually, I was reading to kill time, but Universe speaks. The universe speaks.
He's throwing the book at me.
I am throwing the book at him. Part one of this 1, 2, 3, there's 6 steps we're going to learn next month in our Success Freak segment. First one is mess. Choose to clean up a mess each month. A mess can be anything. I'm not going to go down the list of what a mess can be. But a mess ultimately is any incongruence in your life. It is any negative, uncomfortable situation, physical thing, relationship, or aspect of your environment that you are tolerating. Clean up the mess. Your passions will burn through. He goes on to talk about wealthy people and how they can always say, I can create wealth out of anything. So
it sounds like with Lee, that there is a little bit of mess somewhere, whether it's his job or whether it's his life. But his is encroaching to the point where it's either affecting him personally or it's certainly affecting him in his job life, or at least in his passion.
Yeah.
So he's he's even mentioned that he missed some of works. He missed some of his recording time. That's a big deal.
I want you to hear this.
Personality.
Yeah, and it's a big deal to him. I know he's passionate about the show. I want you to hear this. You didn't get here, wherever here is for you, and this is for all the audience. You didn't get here today. You slowly got here, so don't think you can clean it up today.
Right.
You got, like the book says, it says 1 a month. If you can do more than that, you can do more than that. But clean up one mess. Figure out, I'm just tolerating this. Can I get rid of it? Can I fine-tune what I do? Can I whittle away? And eventually you'll see, I'm doing 7 shows a week. That's what I'm personally doing.
Right.
I don't know how I got here. I just kind of woke up the other day. I was talking to somebody. I'm like, holy crap. I do 7 shows a week.
And the same thing is true with bad stuff happening in your life. It wasn't through one bad decision. It was through one bad decision followed by a series of other bad decisions or bad choices that you made, and that's how you got to a certain point. You're not all of a sudden addicted to cocaine. You're not all of a sudden bankrupt and all the way, your credit card's maxed out. You're not all of a sudden losing your job because of whatever else is going on in your life. You're not all of a sudden, losing your boyfriend, girlfriend, or marriage. It's one choice and a bunch. Are you doing Instagram right now?
I've been asked to do it because they don't get the joke.
Okay.
It's not really a joke. He's just called him white. Sorry.
All right.
You're supposed to ignore me.
I can't ignore you when there's a camera in my face. You don't get to the point where you're
No, go ahead. Ignore me.
You don't get to the point.
Ignore me.
You don't
just keep talking,
dude.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You don't get to the point where, without any of the bad things that happen in your life, by one mistake. It's a series of things that happens. So it's the same thing with cleaning it up. It's going to take a series of things. It's going to take, it's like pick up sticks. You're going to pick up one stick at a time. It's that spaghetti and meatball, one meatball at a time, one spaghetti strand at a time. But eventually, you're going to have a clean plate if you keep at it. I wish I had that quote. There's a quote that I found that was, I'll have to find it later. I'll find it later and I'll put it in the show notes. That quote. Look for that quote. Sharon Watson helped me find out what I wanted to share about that quote.
Well,
so, and we didn't even, I'm going to jump back because we didn't even say thank you to Lala Siegfried.
I don't need to. She didn't reference me.
Dude, she did reference you.
That's 2. I'm going to get smacked on the third dude.
You are going to get smacked. I'm going to
say slap me.
I want to give a heartfelt thank you from the both of us to Lala Siegfried, because it does take a lot of bravery to call in to speak pipe, because apparently it does, because not that many people do it. So thank you very much for those words, and just like Charles said, thank you for letting us know that we do make a difference in your life. And it certainly, you make a difference in our lives. Being able to come here each week and share this stuff with you, it also helps us think through some things. This is kind of like our own healing and growing process as well. You teach what you most want to and what you most need to learn. So a lot of the stuff, that we're sharing it's pertinent because it's what's going on in our lives as well. So it's kind of like this is our own little therapy session, even though it's not therapy.
Talking about getting overwhelmed, I think there's a thing in life, I know it's in life, but follow me here. Precarious balance. There's sometimes, like I go off and on with that balance, that precarious balance. Like it's all there, but I just don't need a big rock to rock the boat. That'd be horrible right now. And if you find yourself where you're kind of juggling, it's kind of working, and you're stressed, but it's working, you need to cut that back to where you can find yourself going, I got an hour, what should I do? And then you can make choices.
Right.
As opposed to, I gotta get the list done, or I'm adding stuff and knocking out the little stuff, and it's not working for you. That's what I'm talking about with the weight loss, is I just started focusing on, I'm just going to put in what I eat, and I'm going to follow their suggestions, and we'll start weighing, and it started working, as opposed to blindly just walking and not seeing progress, or trying this or trying that, and not knowing. You got to focus, because when a bomb rocks that balance, like it did for you last Tuesday, things get thrown off, and that's when you start sliding sideways.
Right. So talking about last Tuesday, getting back to Danielle Banks and some of the story that she was telling, it was very chilling to hear her describe that, because we had a friend of ours and a performer friend from the Georgia Renaissance Festival, a man named Mitt Lenix, who was shot and killed just after midnight, early on Tuesday. We had heard about it. I got an email from the entertainment director, and just part of what she shared with us was, I'm going to just read what I wrote down here. It saddens me beyond words to have to ever bring this kind of news. Mitt Lenix has passed away. He was shot and killed early this morning at the Starlight Drive-In after seeking a jump for his car, which wouldn't start. His killer has yet to be apprehended. I have no further information to share, and even more maddening, I have no answers for such a senseless loss of a bright light in our family. Since this tragedy, his alleged killer has been apprehended, and they're going through all the process right then. Mitt, he's not a close friend of mine, but he was definitely he's what I consider family as far as performing family. I've only ever seen him at the Georgia Renaissance Festival. Always a bright guy, always upbeat, always fun. He belonged to he was a two-man group called Breaking Point, and great guys. I never really saw too much of their show, just a little bit of it, but I would see them afterwards. We'd all hang out at the pub afterwards and chat each other up. Just a fun guy. And what was odd about this was that last Sunday, I was looking at him and thinking to myself, I didn't share this with him. It's just like, look, I thought he was younger than he was 28. I thought he was younger, and I was just like, you have so much promise and so much ahead of you. You have so much life ahead of you right now. And actually, for once, I almost never get this. I was feeling jealous because there's such a potential for this kid. And even more than I knew, the more came out about him was that he was a martial arts expert. I mean, amazing. I believe his family owns a studio. He was a combat medic, and a slew of other things that he was involved with. So that's what I was carrying into the show last Tuesday, and when Danielle was talking about her stuff, and actually we were going to bleed into this story after Danielle's, but her, it just didn't fit anymore, and I didn't want to cut off anything of what she was giving, because what she was giving was so great. last night was his funeral, and I did not get it, as I'm kind of under the weather. It was a ways away, so I wasn't able to go to that. But it definitely felt his, missing him this weekend, not seeing him there. We have another performer friend of ours who is actually going to begin working with him on the road, I think. And I asked him how he was doing, and he said he only cried during one point, and it was just before a show. And it was at a point where Mitt would usually show up, and just kind of, they would have a couple of words back and forth during the show, and then he would leave. And when Mitt didn't show up, the guy continued with the show, and he just started crying during the show. And the audience, not even explaining to it, the audience, had no idea why this was happening. Why am I drudging all this up? Why am I bringing all this up? I don't know. He was such a bright future, and it just reminds us. It just reminds us to really appreciate the people around you. The working title for the show is "Life Goes On," and we'll talk about that a little bit, I think. But really appreciate every moment that you have here. Really, even in the midst of your if your life is going great and it's fantastic and you're on top of the world and you're loving it great, or if you're down in the doldrums and you're just kind of like at the worst point, remember, it's always changing. You're ever growing and ebbing and all that kind of stuff. So you don't know where you are. But try to enjoy every moment of it, even the bad stuff, because you're in the middle of it. There's a song by, and I wish I could remember his name right now, Tim McGraw. It was one of my favorites. It was my favorite song one time, called "Live Like You Were Dying." And it's a great song about, I think he wrote it while his father was dying or after his father died. And it talked about somebody who's developed cancer, and somebody else is asking, well, how do you deal with that? And he's like, I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. And all the things that he had suddenly done, instead of just letting life happen, he went out and started doing things in life. So I got one more thing before you can jump in. So I recommend that you really take those moments and take the time to, call your mom and dad and tell them that you love them. Tell your kids you love them, all that kind of stuff. There's a graphic novels by Neil Gaiman called The Sandman. And one of the characters in those is his sister. The Sandman is a character, is his sister, Death. And one of her quotes is one of my favorites. Is that you get what everyone gets. You get a lifetime. So remember that, and really enjoy the people around you. Really enjoy each moment, even the bad ones. Even the bad ones are great sometimes.
Have you figured out really where it digs in for you? If you didn't know him, it's more or less a work acquaintance, but yet it's really rocked you.
It was weird because I said this to you last week. I was more in touch with this last week. I felt very, for lack of a better word, and I mean this in a positive way, I felt very haunted by him. He was with me all week, and I talked to a couple of other people. They felt the same thing. I don't know. There's that feeling we all have as we're growing up that we're invincible, and then if you do something like performer people, you look at us or I look at us and go, we live the good life. Of course we're going to have good things happen to us. We're going to die old in our beds. It's going to be great. And then when this happens, that's kind of no. Life is fleeting. Take it seriously. I mean, have fun, but enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't let it just slip away. Don't just exist. I don't know. I felt haunted by him. He was with me all week.
You definitely need. I mean, everything we've talked about off air, everything we've talked about on air. There's just such huge parallels in Kevin Smith's new Q&A they did after Red State called "Burn in Hell," and it's called Kevin Smith "Burn in Hell" because it's kind of centered around the stories of the movie he made, Red State, and how Westboro Baptist Church picketed him and what came out of that. But he told a couple different stories, and the one thing of currently was talking about his dad's death. He's going to stop directing movies. And I'd read that too, and I was very disappointed. And somebody asked him, he was like, that was very sad for me. Why are you doing it? And the short version is, when his dad died, his brother was with them in the hotel room. They were doing this big movie thing and whatever, and they were all in town. And his dad was diabetic and had heart problems. He's in and out of the hospital all the time. So they called him and said his dad's in the hospital. I was like, yeah, okay, again, sure. What's going? And he's like, no, you need to get down here. By the time he got down there, his dad was dead. And he asked his brother later on, he goes, so, how was it? What happened? Just shocked by it all. And his brother said he died screaming. I don't know how else to say that, but, they described the situation. And Kevin Smith says, what you're saying, we all get a lifetime because we're all going to die screaming. So I want to live fulfilled. I want to only live my passions. I could do another 20, 30 years and be a billionaire making just movies that everybody else wants me to make. I want to go back to that passion that I had when I was 18, 20, doing the hunger. And it might not be in movies. And he goes into long stories about the last 3 movies he's making in his career and what he's going to do next. But it's that what you're talking about. Everybody dies screaming, and the choices he made because of that, of live fulfilled. Because when I die screaming, I want to know that I am fulfilled. That's the word he kept using. It stuck with me. I am fulfilled. I have lived to the fullest. And it seems like what you're hitting on here, where is it that you're not fulfilled right now? Where is it that you feel lacking that this is rocking you?
I don't know. I think I feel with him specifically, just a sense of loss. But I don't. Maybe looking at his life, and just the years that were in front of it on that Sunday. Last Sunday, the years that are in front of it, and thinking even deeper subconsciously, because it wasn't up in my, I wasn't thinking this. Thinking, wow, if I had all that potential with what I know now, where could I go?
Here's a harder question for you. As you have to cough, you're having a rough time, but you're powering through. Get some water. You got some water here.
Oh, it's not that. It's in my chest.
Do I need CPR?
Not yet, baby.
Okay. Here's the harder question. If you were going to live your passion every day, what do you have to cut out of your life right now? You don't have to answer that. Just
I had a smart ass answer right there that you would have to bleep out.
But if you're tomorrow's one of our work days, and we're going to sit down and work our passion, what is it in your life that you would have to cut out to do that every day?
I would have to cut out. Honestly, I would have to cut out the all the shiny, all the things that allow myself to get distracted, and that's just to move forward my passion. But there are also certain things that I can't let that work consume me, because also the things that make us happiest in life are not so much the things that we buy. People are happier for experiences they have and experiences they have with other people. So I would have to look at setting up more of those. Now, hopefully my passion is going to take me into a new arena. It's going to, bring some of my older friends with me and introduce me to newer friends, so that when I'm having that social interaction, one-on-one or in groups face-to-face, not just through the buffer of social media.
Sure.
When we're having that, it's with my old friends and my new friends, and it's having a very rich and fulfilled life, and it's having all that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of the shiny, a lot of the busy work gets in the way. It's that, this makes me feel good right now. So getting that out of the way, that's just the way I'm thinking. I'm sure that if I go down that hallway, I would be able to hone that and do it even better. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. Cut out some of the crap.
I always have a list of crap to cut out, but I also try to find that balance of playing with my kids and forcing myself to relax. There's definitely crap I could cut out of my life, but the reason I'm hanging on to it is because for so long all I did was work.
I just had an idea, and from what you've asked me, I'm all about making lists and all that kind of stuff. Why don't we, and I'm going to do this tomorrow, and you got to remind me to do it, because otherwise I might not. I'm going to make a list of the stuff that I do that's in the way. Instead of this is my to-do list, this is my to-don't list. And one of the things at the top is going to be screw around on Facebook. And another thing at the top is play, get not consumed and meshed or get tangled up in a new video game. Things like that.
Two things with you. Well, 3 things with you, with Lee, and with the chat room. I love the to-don't list. Someone's like to Dirk it. It rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
The to-don't list. We need to patent that or trademark it or something. The to-don't list. Because here they're going, man, living your passion is hard when you don't even know what your passion is. You're talking about having to figure it out. Lee's talking about being overwhelmed. what I did, which fits is right into what you're talking about doing tomorrow. I wrote it down, so I'm going to remind you to do it.
All right.
And we're both going to do it.
All right. And we'll put it up. We'll put it up on Facebook.com/BCN Tosol.
There you go. We'll get one of our helpers to do it, so we won't play on Facebook.
Oh, we can make the list. We'll send it to Sharon Watson
the whole list
and Rock Girl.
The whole list is this. Number 1, don't play on Facebook. The end. But no, before I get distracted, I'm sorry. It's easy to find your passion when you start doing a to-don't list. When you go, man, what is it that distracts me the most? And I'm not talking about, I got sucked into this game and all of a sudden 2 hours is gone. I've done that. But that's not my passion. That's like crap. I feel bad after that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, and I'm going to put myself out on a limb here, but everybody at work, and my working for the man job, knows that I'm a talker. And I kind of get in trouble for it sometimes. Like when I'm training, they'll hear the other end of the phone call, and my boss will be like, y'all are talking too much. I'm like, I'm working and talking. I don't know what they're doing, but you had me train up because I'm one of the best trainers. You're going to get to talking. I will find myself stopping work to talk about passion, about anything. Not just chatting, but when I get interested in what you're doing or what somebody else is doing, or I'm sharing a passion with you, I will talk. That's how I led into doing this. It started with a band wanting to get my message out. Then it went to podcasting because I thought it was so interesting. Then it went to the Bear Crawling live show because I literally sat down and go, what's my new show going to be about? What do I do all the time? I talk. I will stop working when I get in trouble for working, for not working, and I'll talk. You do your to-don't list of what takes away my time, and you start going, you're leading right into the next chapter. The 6 pathways of life is the next chapter, and one of those is what I pimped out, the mess. Cleaning up the mess is part of the to-don't list. Once you start writing down what you've done every day, because we get lost, we zone out, we forget. But you start taking a little notebook or a little recorder going, okay, right now, I'm going to play on Facebook. Don't stop what you're doing. Just document it. And then you read that document at the end of the night, you're going to go, holy crap. I did that. What could I do if I didn't do that? What part of this list did I love doing? That's how I came to doing what I do because I found out I love to talk. If you love looking at pictures, you start one step at a time. Your passion is in you. That's what I don't understand. When people say, I don't know what my passion is, you just have so much crap in front of it. You're so distracted. I feel like I'm being negative. I'm not trying to be. I'm being turned around. You feel like you're so distracted. Yeah, But no, it's the Lee Brown, man. You called up and you said that you're feeling overwhelmed because you have all this stuff. You're looking. We're talking about the death and the bombshell. My uncle's death was a bombshell because I wasn't looking at him. My grandfather's was not. I knew my grandfather. I paid attention to him. I was looking forward to the day he passed away because it's better for him. He had a lifelong, things were deteriorating, blah, blah, long age, long life, fulfilled, those kind of things. I was looking forward to the day he passed away because it's better for him. But I knew it was coming. It was sad, but it wasn't a bombshell. My uncle's was a bombshell because I wasn't looking at it.
Right.
That to-don't list is going to be stuff you're going, wow, what could I do if I wasn't looking at this? What would I see coming my way? What opportunities would I see to do something fun if I wasn't doing this to-don't list? Dude, we got to do something trademark.
It's also those things you're looking for those. You do those little things because they keep your mind entertained. They titillate you a little bit. What if you were able to get titillated by instead if you kept yourself hungrier? Oh, and I think that when you're being creative, you have to wait for a level of boredom for it to really kick in. Oh, I'm so bored, I might as well write. Oh, I'm so bored, I might as well work on this. And the other stuff is exciting. The stuff you work on is exciting. But if you're never bored, if you never get to that point, then there's no reason to go over there. I'm satiated. I feel fulfilled for these little things that mean nothing. Then you're never going to go over there. That's why I tell people that playing video games, because they on some level they fulfill you because you do it. You take on a quest, you fulfill the quest, you level up, you get the sense of, oh, I've accomplished something. Oh, look, I'm building this character. Oh, look, I'm doing all these things. And what's really happening is, oh, look, I'm sitting on my ass not doing a goddamn thing in my life. That's what's happening. I mean, sure, if it's fine if it's entertainment and it's relaxing, but if that's all your life, if you're basing your life on that, that should definitely be in your to-don't list. Instead, life is meant to be lived. I believe that we're here. We're put. The meaning of life is to learn to be a creator, and the thing that you get to create is a life. It's up to you what kind of life you create for yourself. It's up to you. You are the knight in shining armor coming to save you. There is nobody else. It's up to you to do things. If you're like, oh, I'm going to wait until somebody notices me so I get my big break. No. Go out there, work on it, and shove yourself in their face so that you've had your big break. Oh, that's when it's going to go off. We're fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Before we get too far away from it, I want to bring up Mitt one more time. There are, I think, at least a couple memorial funds out there, and we will post his, the one that whichever one we want to do in the show notes, so you can look for it there. Also, if you want to know anything more about him, his name is Mitt, M-I-T-T, Lenix, L-E-N-I-X, and his act is Breaking Point, and I know both those things are on Facebook. You can find both of them. So there's that. Where were we at? I think we need to retitle the show. I don't like Life Goes On. What do we want to call it?
The don't
No,
list.
it's not. That was part of it, but that's not.
I don't know.
You know, the meaning of life, or
that should have been episode 42.
Anybody in the chat? Oh, that's funny.
You know,
anybody in the chat room? Well, we'll figure something out. It might be Life Goes On, but I don't think that's fitting anymore.
It's how bad do you want it?
Live like you were dying.
Maybe.
Something. We'll figure it out.
We've talked about some hardcore things, which I really enjoy talking about, and that to don't list was genius. I mean, I never understood until now. I've never understood the TV people, the people like Kevin Smith. I don't know that Kevin Smith has ever said this, but people like Kevin Smith who make movies and do great art that moves me, and they go, "Oh, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in years. I don't know anything about TV. I don't know what's going on." I'm like, seriously? How do you not do it? And I get it now. It's because your passion is not repeating what other people do. Your passion is not being moved by what's going on in pop culture, even in your industry. Your passion is looking forward. And I think about the time I waste, and here we go. The passion is, I think about the time I waste on Facebook. I'm playing this Marvel Avengers game, and it hooked me. Because I stay away from those games here. Time suck, and I'm a completist, dude. You're talking about the things that titillate our brains. And if I know there's a prize I can get, I'll work my ass off to get it in a game. And it won't mean anything in the end, but I'll feel completed. And when I can slowly but surely, I've been focusing that energy away from games, away from all these time sucks, to going, how can I feel completed in chasing this show, and chasing this promotion, and chasing bigger, better, more, chasing my family. How can I feel more fulfilled there? I've been doing that. And when I fully complete that path that we're going to talk about next month, and get into the 6 paths of life, and it tells you how to start doing these roads, I'll be that guy that I didn't understand. I'll be that guy who goes, I don't know, I haven't watched Lost version 2. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't had time. I'm chasing and living my dream.
Right. You're leveling up your life. You know, I don't have time to level up my character. I'm leveling up my life. I'm making something out of my life. And what's odd is that this is going to pull you, if you have your group of gaming buddies or people that you always see on Facebook or people that you always see with whatever, you're gonna lose touch with them. But you're gonna make other friends in this new arena that you're gonna grow into, whatever your passion may be. Or you may be following your passion and suddenly it's gonna take a hard right, and suddenly you find your life completely different with something else you never thought you'd be doing. And that's what you're gonna be enjoying. But what you're not gonna be doing is wasting your time and wasting your life on your to-don't list, because you get what everyone gets. You get a lifetime, and that could be a moment, or that could be 100 years, like Bob Hope. Bob Hope lived to be 100 years old, and I remember that because, was it Food for Fighting or whatever, came out with that song 100 Years, and it came out the year that he died. So you get a lifetime. It's up to you what you do with it. Create a great life for yourself. If you're like doing this drudgery and you're just doing the work and it's sucking your soul, change it. If your only joy in life is leveling up in Borderlands or Skyrim or whatever, change your life. Get out, kiss the sun, because you only have a moment.
And you got to look inwards too. I mean, not just get out and get motivated. Sometimes you do have to remove yourself, but you got to look inwards too and go, why is this the only place that fulfills me and makes me happy?
Right.
How can I spread that joy from this one moment to the rest of my life? And one last thing I want to say on all this is from the medical field. We call it triage. Something bad juju happens and lots of people are hurt. You have levels. Everybody who can walk goes over here. That's easy stuff on our list. Everybody who can walk goes over here. Take care of it yourself. Easy stuff. We'll knock it out when we get to it, or you take care of it yourself. get somebody else to take care of it. Then you've got the red level is seriously injured. Excuse me. I'm getting it from you now.
You got it.
But seriously, the next level is like seriously injured, where I can save their lives, and I can do it right now if I move. And I take that and I run, and we might go over. It's fine. This is important stuff. We'll go over. But that triage is that heavy duty stuff. Like my shows with a Z, because I'm yo like that. Is my red level stuff. If this is my to-do, and everything has to line up, my passions, family, work, show. And sometimes it's family, show, work. But my 3 passions, that's my red level triage, is I have to keep this going. I can save this life if I move now. Black level is to don't list. But black level, here's a catch to all that. This is what happened in Oklahoma City bombing. Black level basically means you're dead. Doesn't mean you're legally dead. Doesn't mean you're actually dead. It means there's so much going on here, we can't make a difference. It'll take away from all these other lives. We have to make a choice. We put a black tag on you. However, what happened with Oklahoma City, which can happen with your life into the don't list, is things hit a momentary lull. There were medics who needed to put hands on somebody. There weren't any red levels. You don't go to green. There weren't any red levels. They checked the black tags. And they save some lives out of the dead zone. That's your to don't list. And it's not that you won't ever do them. You just do them rarely, or when that moment comes up that you need to do something. And that's honestly Facebook. Even us promoting our stuff, that's on our black to don't list.
Right.
Not to not do it, but you only do that when there's nothing else going on.
Or if you become big enough, you give it to your minions. They can do it. But then you're paying for that. Here, take care of my blacklist.
And then it kind of, but we're talking about the stuff that distracts us.
Right.
But, go out to Lee Brown. I go out to you. Go out to myself. Go out to everybody listening. You don't know your passion because you have too many blacklist stuff going on in your life.
Right.
You're on your to-do
list. Well, and
list.
I think that Lee needs, like you said, he needs to do the levels of triage.
Put it off.
With his life and figure out, okay, what's most important to me. And if it's his passion that's most important, that he needs to work on stuff, great. If there's certain things in his life that he needs to take care of, and that's most important right now, great. Yeah. Take care of that so you can move on to your passion, so you can create a great life for yourself. Whatever's getting in the way of you creating a great life for yourself, you need to take care of that bitness.
I know this isn't the title of the show, but kind of referencing back to Life Goes On, it does. That's reality. When you're dead, life goes on for everybody else. I mean, life goes on. You need to be prepared for when life does go on. Where are you going to land? And that's talking. Man, I hate that I read part of the chapter because that's the next chapter in the book. Is really quick reference out of there. The housewife who has kids and her only path in life was to raise those kids. What happens when those kids are raised and grown and gone, and now she has nothing in her life? That's why you have to have the multiple paths. You have to be prepared for when you land. Because for Lee. I don't know. I mean, from the time he called that in, and it might have been things might have crashed on him since then.
Right. It's been a couple weeks.
But you're still alive. Where are you now? Where do you pick up the pieces? Tsunamis hit the islands, hit the coast. Hurricanes hit the Midlands. Earthquakes hit the West Coast.
Life goes on.
Where are you going to be when it goes on?
Your internet crashes. You get sick.
Yeah.
Friends and family members die on you. Life goes on.
So where are you going to be?
Are you going to spend it? Are you going to spend it distracted with the little things in life? Or are you going to try to build something great so that you can really go, hey, look, I'm fulfilled when I'm at the end of this all. I'm not going to look back on a million Facebook pages. I'm going to look back on a million smiling faces that I met face to face.
That's perfect.
So
that's perfect on how we view it. Because we're not advocating cutting out Facebook or Twitter or any of that. We live our lives.
That's how we do our business.
Right. But we count those as real people. And we're not going to look back on the page. We're not going to look back on how many fans we had or the numbers of influence on cloud or any of that mess. We look back on the faces of the lives that we touched.
The moments that we had with our friends and family.
I love the fact that Billy Graham has touched millions of lives. Whether you agree with him or not, the fact is he's touched millions of lives. He can look back. Well, I think he died a couple years ago. But, at his deathbed, he can look back, and there's a line of people going, your words changed me. And we all have that in our lives. So, speaking of the Facebook and touching lives, Should we tell them how to touch lives, or you just want to wrap?
No,
it?
go for it. We've already gone way
BC and Tosol, Facebook.com/BC and Tosol will get all the other side of live info and insights. And there's definitely things I share there that I don't put anywhere else.
Also on that page is a link to our Speak Pipe. If you want to leave us a message or just give us a shout out or whatever, please do. We'd love to hear from you, and we're happy to share it on the show or not share it on the show as you wish, but we'd probably share it anyways.
And I give Lala grief because I have fun, but I do appreciate. See, the words coming out of my mouth are not what you listen to. The word, it's what's behind them. And I laugh, she didn't like me. But I then turn around going, it means everything to have somebody call in. And that it does. So we definitely appreciate you. I've got Chaos and Coffee in the morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're going to be on the air with that. And you can find that at Facebook.com/Chaos and Coffee.
You can also find both of us on Instagram. That's the phone app for iTunes and Android. Charles is under Bear Crawling, and I'm under Mordant World. We're sharing a lot of pictures from our lives there.
And that's my social media of choice currently. So.
Yeah, mine too. I kind of daily I do at least one or two.
All right,
so you get something from us. So I think that's it. And for all of our friends and family out there who do touch us as well, both Charles and I want to say thank you so much, and that we love you, and you mean so much for us. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be the men that we are, able to do the things that we do. So thank you so much for making our lives rich.
And thank you for changing everything that I do. I don't think I've ever said that here, or at least to your face. Don't be all gushing and looking down at your computer. I was on the little list, and you came in and you just helped streamline, help fire that passion up. And, we do this, and this is important to me. And, some other stuff could go away. I'd be sad, but I'd be okay with it. But this is important. This is what we're doing. So thank you for doing that and lighting me up. And Glee. I don't know.
And thank you for Glee. Thank you. And thank you for making it real and making it bigger, better, more, baby.
Always.
Thank you so much. All right. I think that's it. This has been our Mordant Mon.
I don't know what kind of bear I am tonight, so I don't know bear.
Ciao, dream catchers.
So raise your
boom, baby.
So raise your glass if you are